Okay, so welcome to another weekly edit. Something a little bit different this week. We're going to be using DxO PureRAW. DxO reached out to me and very kindly have given me the opportunity to use their software. So full disclaimer, I've not paid for the software. They've given me the opportunity to use it, which is fantastic, but I'll give my, honest opinion. And this week we're going to look at PureRAW, which it's more than sort of denoise. It's like a raw processing kind of software, lens corrections, chromatic aberration, detail, and denoise. It sort of supercharges your raw file. So we're going to go into it. Here's the shot that we're going to look at. It's a great crested grebe that I took on the way back from the photography show. I think it might have been the way back, and it was ISO 1250, so not massively high, but, not massively clean. If we zoom in, bird looks nice and sharp. There is, if we look in particularly, don't know how well it will come across on the video, but if we look at the areas, particularly the water, we might see a little bit of noise, but it's not horrific. I don't obsess about noise, but obviously if we can clean the file up, then great. So the thing that I like about PureRAW is I can integrate it into my current workflow. So it is a standalone application. However, I can work directly within Lightroom, process it in PureRAW, and get straight back into Lightroom, which is really great. So I've got the application installed, and as part of that installation process, you can install the plugins. So if I right click on the image, I can go to export, and we see DxO PureRAW 6 here, and we've got these three options. The other way to do it is to go to File, Plugin Extras, and we can see we've got these options here. So now the other great thing, in terms of the workflow, to make it really quick, is you've got these two options here, so you can process instantly with DxO PureRAW. So it will just process it. You'll get a dialog window. It will do it, and you get it back into your image. Or you can process directly again, using the last settings that you'd used in PureRAW 6. But to show you the interface, we're going to do preview and process with DxO PureRAW 6. So just press that. That will launch the application, and here we are. So that was pretty quick. Now, it's pretty straightforward. There's not loads of options, which is nice. You can do, mark local adjustments, and we can look at the output settings. But if we go into 100%, we've got this dividing line down the middle. The left-hand side being our original RAW file, and the right-hand side being the preview of what our edit is, essentially. And we can see down here, we can use some presets if we want to, but let's go through the settings. So we've got Deep Prime free, and we've got Deep Prime XD free. My understanding is the Deep Prime XD free is their latest version. It does seem better than Deep Prime from the little testing that I've done, so I like better, so I stick with better, and Deep Prime XD free works for me. And we can see straight away there's some default kind of settings applied, and the good thing is we can move this divider. Again, how well it will come across in the video, I'm not entirely sure. What you'll notice when I move the divider is the image of the grebe slightly moves. And the reason for that is because, as I say, this is not just a denoise tool, it's applying lens distortion. So if I turn that off, now when I move the slider, the grebe's not moving because no lens corrections have been applied, that barreling of the lens. So obviously I want to correct lens distortion, and that's why when you move that slider across, it appears like the grebe is kind of moving because it's fixing that distortion. If we go right into 200%, if I hold down the space bar, I get the little hand icon come up and I can move my image around. It might take a little while to kind of process, but now when we move it, if you look at the grebe's head, So left hand side being the original, right hand side being the process version. Hopefully you can see the difference, and we haven't even tinkered with the settings. Particularly if you look on the water side, if I keep the divider over here, on the left hand side we've got the original, we've got a little bit of colour noise coming in into the image, and then the right hand side. And what I found with, denoise tools have got better and better in recent years, especially with, the advances in AI. But they can sometimes still look a little bit, what I'd say, plasticky, artificial. I think this looks really natural, which is really nice. So we've got a couple of sliders that we can mess with on here. Luminance and force details, to be honest, I found kind of the default to be pretty good. Might just push the detail a little bit around there. And then we've got lens sharpness, so it will sharpen the image as well. And we can change the intensity of that, and I'm going to really kind of push it not too far. I don't want it to look kind of unnatural, maybe somewhere around there. But if you look at this grebe's head, like the detail it's brought out, if I slide that across, yeah, I'm just really impressed with what it's pulling out of the file. We can, so the vignetting option will take any vignetting out of the lens, chromatic aberration, so where you get that purple or green fringe in, and as we said about the lens distortion. We can do some retouching, dust removal. I'm not going to bother with that, if I'm honest, at this point on this particular image. So that, and bearing in mind we were right in at like 200% there as well. So if we look at 100%, it gives us a more realistic preview. But just the detail, even down here in the reflection of the grebe, yeah. And to me personally, I think it doesn't look AI-y. It just looks natural to me. So I can now just hit process now, or we can look at the output options. The good thing about this software is we've got a few options. We could just go straight to JPEG. We can do a smart object, so we can take it into Photoshop. Typically I would use DNG, so like a digital negative file essentially. So because we've done no processing on this, the beauty of a DNG is I still get that latitude in the file, similar to a TIFF really. I'm not worried about where I'm saving it, any file naming. It will put it into a collection in Lightroom, which is kind of useful. So all of the files that you've used DxO PureRAW, they'll all be in that same collection if you need to find them. That's quite nice. So now we just hit process now, and it will process, and I found it to be pretty quick. Don't take too long at all, and then we can go straight back into Lightroom with the file. So it's doing it, and there we go. So the file is now in Lightroom. So it's moved it, so you can see here it's moved it into a DxO PureRAW Smart Collection. You can see where I've been playing with it, and it's given me different folders here. I'm just going to move it into my weekly edit queue folder, so that's the wrong one. Weekly edit. So now I've got two files in here. So one thing to bear in mind is you are creating additional files, so just in terms of storage. So on this number 2 one now is the original RAW file, and then the number 1 here is the DNG. So that's the DxO PureRAW file. The nice thing about it is it's maintained all of my metadata, my EXIF data. None of that's been overwritten or anything. So let's just go in and process that image now like we would normally. So it's going to develop. If we zoom in, I mean, yeah, I'm just really impressed with the detail. We will do a comparison in a minute to the original kind of RAW file. So now I'm just going to do my normal edits. as I say, because it's a DNG file, we've got that original sort of latitude in the file. So if we look at the kind of breast area on the grebe, it was a little bit blown out. I've probably gone a little bit too far with the highlights there, actually, somewhere around there. We can lift the shadows up, give a little bit of contrast. Going to be a little bit careful with texture and clarity because we did that, you know, the details within DxO PureRAW. Just a little bit, not too heavy on those. I am going to crop it. To me, it doesn't look quite level. If we look at the ripples, which is one of the things that I kind of like about the image, they're kind of higher on this side than they're on this side. So I obviously wasn't very level at the time. So I am going to crop it. And strangely, unusually, I'm going to keep the grebe kind of central in the frame, which is kind of unusual, but I do like these ripples going out, so I kind of want to keep those in the frame, which means keeping the grebe kind of central. Don't mind that. So that's the crop. Let's add a little bit of vibrance and saturation. Again, not too heavy. I don't want it looking kind of unnatural. Not going to add any sharpening, because I've done that in PureRAW. I don't want to sharpen on top of sharpening. Not going to add any lens corrections because we did that in PureRAW. So the last thing to do is going to go to my remove tools, and I find this little whatever it is on the grebe's head a little bit distracting, so I'm going to take that out. So that's fine. So that's the finished article. So now when I do the before and after on this shot, it's showing me before any of the Lightroom edits on the PureRAW DNG, so not the original RAW file. There we go. So let's, for a fair comparison, let's take the edit settings that we've done to the PureRAW file. So if we right click, develop settings, and let's copy settings. Just going to copy everything, and I'm going to paste those onto the RAW file, the original RAW file that's got none of the PureRAW settings on it at all. Now, for a kind of fair comparison, what we need to do is, you know, we can see from these developed settings the highlights and all that should be identical, but we've not done any lens corrections on this original file. So, you know, to keep it fair, let's do lens corrections, remove chromatic aberration. Let's do some denoise, because effectively, you know, we have applied denoise to the PureRAW file, but we haven't applied any denoise to this file. So for a fair comparison, let's do some denoise. Now, immediately, from my perspective, we had like the luminance and the force details options in PureRAW. We don't have that option here. We can obviously go into manual denoise, and we've got some options there, but in terms of the AI denoise, we don't have those options. It is just a slider, and it takes a little bit longer, I'd say, at this stage to do it, obviously depending on your internet connection and speed of your machine, but let's let Lightroom kind of think about it. That's done. I'm not going to mess with the slider. Let's just go with the default, and then we do need to apply some sharpening because we did apply some detail with PureRAW. So again, we'll do like the kind of normal 80, 90 kind of mark, which we know kind of works, and I don't want to sharpen the water area, so I'm just masking it off. So that's what I would have normally done with this photo in Lightroom. So let's compare it now to the PureRAW version. So again, number one is you'll see from the file name DNG, that is the DxO PureRAW. Even actually it says it down here with the software. And then this one is my original CR2, which we've now edited in Lightroom Classic. So let's compare them. So I've selected them both, and down here we can compare the two images. So left hand side is the DNG, so the PureRAW. Right hand side is the original RAW file. So let's let's zoom in and compare. And again, don't know how well this is going to come across on the video. I think the PureRAW version is a lot better. Amazing detail. The colour to me is ever so slightly better. Without it looking kind of artificial, you know, if we look, let's zoom in a little bit further. The detail here in the head, in these feathers, all the way around, just superb. And bearing in mind we've zoomed into 162% now, so it will start to look a little kind of pixelated per se. A lot softer on the Lightroom version. Let's just go back to 100%. So, you know, look at these droplets, feather detail on the greaves back. Just, yeah, been very impressed with PureRAW. You know, I'm not going to sort of use a product unless it is giving me a better result and it's easy to use. And well, hopefully you saw how easy it was to use, how easy it was to integrate into the workflow, and the results speak for themselves. And that wasn't a particularly noisy image. I've done noisier images and I've been really impressed with the results. It's kind of saved a couple of images for me that were really, really quite noisy. So yeah, good thing about it is, as usual, I'll do the before and after on the edit. But yeah, the good news is if you want to go and try it, I believe there's a 14-day trial, so download it, have a play. When you first use it, one thing that I didn't mention is you might need to download a small file when you open your first RAW file for your lens and camera, that combination. And from my experience, it's a tiny little file. It literally takes seconds to download. Once you've downloaded it, you know, it's, unless you delete the software and reinstall it, you're good to go. 14-day trial, as I say, you know, go and try it. But if you do like it, then I'm pleased to say that I can offer 15% discount with on a third discount code. And that applies across the DxO suite of software, so Nik Collection, Film Pack, PureRAW, PhotoLab, and some of this software we'll be getting into in future edits. So yeah, if you like the software, you can get 15% discount with on a third. Obviously, I'm going to put the discount code up, and I'll put it in the description. But let me know in the comments what you think, and if there's anything you want me to look at in the DxO software in general, then please, happy to go into it. So until next time, look after yourselves. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Let me know your thoughts on the image, and see you next time.